Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to At Last. I am Stylosa and welcome back to our awesome Overwatch coaching series, which is of course OverAnalyzed. Now, if you'd like to send a video in for this series, then follow the instructions that have been on the screen. So, as you know, following on from the most recent OverAnalyzed, we are going into more detail now. We're not just going on about positioning and all basic stuff like that. Yes, there will still be bits of that in there, but what we're going to try and do is give more advanced advice. But I'm trying to drip feed this in. I'm not just trying to go to the extreme levels of ultra high-end super advice, because I know that we need to take baby steps, right? We can't just go straight from one level to the top level. That's just not going to work. So what we're going to do in this video is take a look at a Genji player, although I'm going to trial something a little bit different here. I'm going to interject different bits of gameplay footage from myself to explain where I think you've gone wrong in certain places, because I think that will be easier and you'll kind of understand. So let's get on with this video and let's see what's going on, because this is a 1900 rated gold Genji. Now, we need to understand a bit of philosophy about Genji to begin with. What is Genji and what is he about? Well, Genji is not a solo assassin. Genji does not just dive into the enemy team and initiate fights, or dive into them and try and take people out 1v1. Genji is a very, very high skill... in fact, he's the highest skill cap hero in the game, in my opinion. You have to be very clever with the way you use him. You need to take 1v1s when you know you can win them. So basic things like, if you want to jump onto an Ana, well, you need to make sure Ana's used a nade before you jump onto her, because you do not want her bio-nading you in the back line and some of their DPS turning around and just burning you down. Or you don't want her putting you to sleep. That would not be great. I'm going to pause this when you bring up the team comp, because we need to discuss that. But let me just carry on with the Genji kind of philosophy. Genji is... he goes in with the team. This is the best way to view Genji, right? You're not a lone wolf. You're not going off doing your own thing. When your team push forward for an attack, that's when Genji goes. When the enemy team is distracted trying to fight your whole team, that's when Genji is at his most effective. Trying to be some sort of solo hero and going around trying to do whatever the hell you want to do is not the best plan with Genji, unless you're just so much better than the opposition, which never really is the case in Overwatch, because everybody is matched based off their MMR. So, let's take a look at this team comp, which is absolutely abysmal. This is going to be very hard to hold first point on Iconvolt, because we've got you on Genji. Alright, okay, Genji's fine. We've got Widowmaker. Okay. We've got Mei, who's actually, pretty strong on this point, so that's fine. Zarya, you can kind of possibly use her wherever you like, although she is falling off a little bit recently, you know, with other changes to other heroes and stuff coming in, but she's still Zarya, she's still pretty good. She's very good on ladder, Zarya, so I'm cool with that. We've got Lucio for solo heal. This is not great, and we've got a Diva. What this team comp misses is, it misses this thing. You see this big square that I'm drawing on the screen here? This is a Reinhart Barrier. It's pretty much mandatory you need Reinhart on defense here, unless you're going to do an anti-dive comp, which I don't expect at this level. So what I mean by that is, if the enemy team dive onto you by a Winston, if you've got your Winston as well and your, you know, whatever the hell of the team build you're rolling with, you dive onto them as they dive onto you. But I don't expect that at this level. In fact, it's very rare that you see that at the high levels in GM anyway. Like, typically, Reinhart is what you need, because you need to hold that choke. This team has nothing to hold the chokes. It's going to be very, very ropey. And also... and I don't mean any disrespect to these players, but when I look at a gold Widow, the reason this Widow is gold is because it cannot aim. Widow is, again, a high skill cap hero. It's a hit scan hero. You need to be very accurate. If it was accurate, it wouldn't be in gold, so it's going to be a bit of a problem. Can it lay down the damage? You could argue the same for our Genji player, although Genji is a little... well, he's a different kettle of fish. Okay, let's play this and carry on. So... there's obviously a lot of basic things with Genji that you need to be looking for. So you will do more damage with your alternate fire. That's a fact. But you only do more damage when you're at closer range. Your primary fire is great for poking people out. There are basic things you can do, like if you get on the blind side of somebody, like you manage to creep up onto them, you can use your primary fire to try and get headshots and then dash through them. Yeah, that'll do a ton of damage. And as you dash through them, you can melee them as well. So what you're going to do there is a ton of damage. And it's... that guy just said it was a terrible comp, and it is really a bad comp. But really, this isn't the time to say it. In fact, let me just pause this here, because this guy, Lukey, I think his name is, this is such a bad time to discuss this. There are 8.4 seconds before the game starts, and he goes, oh, it's a effing bad comp, or whatever he said. No, say that at the start. And also, our Genji player should be talking on the microphone. I think, oh, actually he is, but it looks like he hasn't recorded his mic, which is fine, Let's just presume that he is actually trying to talk. So let's take a look at what we're going to do here, because we're Genji. We should be harassing them as they come through here. We're standing in the background here, which is fine, but let's see what the enemy's got first before things go... well, I start giving heavy criticism. Okay, not a bad deflect. Okay, so... Alright. Okay, let me start drawing on the screen. You see this thing here, the bridge? Right, you see Genji. Genji, he can wall climb, he can double jump. You know what, I'll just show you. Just check this out, this is what I mean. Okay, so this is kind of what I mean, right? You're standing in the choke here, and you're just firing forward, and it's achieving, honestly, not that much. Yes, you're poking, yes, you're getting a bit of an ultimate charge, and all that's great. But if you were playing Soldier 76, or even like a Bastion, it'd be more effective if that's what you want to do. You've got to play Genji how he's designed to be played. Look at this. You can do all kinds of mad stuff, right? You can jump around, you can use the double jump, you can be irritating, do Genji stuff, use the wall climb, jump up stuff, drop down, you know. That's kind of what you should be doing with Genji. It's going to make you harder to hit. It's going to make you more frustrating. But also, on the other hand, what you need to be doing is using your deflect properly. Because you're not using it properly. All you're doing at the moment is just standing back here and popping deflect every now and again at random points. You only really want to deflect when you know you can push back a ton of damage. And typically, that's when you're in their face, not standing at the back over there. So if you were operating from this area here, let's say you're firing down into this section here sort of thing, and this is all great, and then you drop down off here, and then you suddenly deflected like that, and then you get out of there like this, that is much better Genji play. Way better, because you're going to deflect loads of damage back into them. So I hope that kind of explains the issue I've got with your positioning and the way that you're sort of playing Genji right now at this point. Okay, let's carry on and see what happens. Let's see if our Genji player starts to actually use Genji how he should be used. You see, like, deflecting there, it's okay, but you really want to do what I showed you in the little clip. You want to get right in their face and deflect to push maximum damage back into them. Also, we had some problems there using our primary fire instead of our alternate fire. You see, like there, you used your alternate fire. You shouldn't have. You should just use your primary fire. Sorry, you should always use your alternate fire at close range on large targets. You will do massive damage to them. See, this is kind of okay poke here, you know, which is fine.
You're gonna die.
Like one of the issues with Genji and lower level Genji play, and this Mercy's actually doing fairly good with voice comms as well. That was a waste of deflect. Like, you have to understand. Oh god, right? You've got to understand. You cannot waste deflect. You cannot waste deflect. The way you're just standing in the choke here and fighting through, like I showed you in that clip, is not ideal. Because if you were playing Soldier, or even like a Bastion or whatever, but let's just stick with the Soldier example, you would be more effective. You would have output more damage onto the enemy team than you have been doing with Genji. You have just used here deflect, and deflected absolutely nothing. And there was 0 point to deflect, but you did it. This is it's like your only defensive ability. And deflect will save your life. It will absolutely save your life, right? So try not to just waste it, or just use it like using it like proactively. Like, oh no, maybe something's going to happen, I'm going to bring out deflect. No, use it with a purpose. Like I showed you in the clip, try and get into their face, the whole team, pop the deflect, and then get out of there, turn around and dash away. That's what you should be doing. I mean, I've not even seen you use the dash yet, which, you know, is fine. What we've got to do with the dash is, or what I'm expecting you to do, is take fights you cannot win. So I'm expecting you to go really deep and then just get instantly killed. But let's see what you do. So you pull him back into the point, you dash through their Genji.
One hit.
That was pretty good. You went back and got him. You don't need to primary fire. We just need to alternate fire. It does more damage. Alternate fire, and cycle in more melees as well when we're on top of people. One of the things when you're jumping on top of people is it's easier to hit them with a melee than it is with the shurikens, right? You need to obviously cycle between them. Don't just keep meleeing when you're on top of people, because it won't do efficient damage. But if you alternate fire then melee, you'll get decent damage in. Although, continuing to alternate fire instead of cycling the melee will probably do more damage, so it could be more effective. But this is the thing with Genji. It's all about knowing what to do at the right time. This is why he's the hardest hero in the game to play. We could hit that Winston. We could have hit this Winston here. I'm gonna draw on him. We should have hit this Winston. You've got dash available, right? You should have just dashed into this Winston, started smashing him up close range. He's got to back off because the turrets are hitting him. You could have done damage to him. The only thing here, though, is you've got your ultimate available, which means that you should be able to counter any kind of massive push they come through. But I don't want to talk about that just yet, because I want to see what you do, because it's kind of redundant if I start explaining things and then you do them anyway. Alright, so they're dropping the beat. This is when we need to be looking at using our Dragon Blade, although it looks like we're okay. Yeah. Right, I was about to say, get into his face and start deflecting. I hope you deflect. Okay, he's a bit... Right, that's late. Okay, let's just run this back again, because this is late on the deflect. No, it didn't run it back. Okay, let's go. So watch this play out now. Soldier has got you in his sights. Lucio's used sound barrier to negate that. You dash in, which is great.
You ultimate fire, you melee him, and then you're a bit slow on the deflect. I would have gone straight in there and started deflecting in his face. It would shut him down. All right, let's take a look at this, which is not a great Dragon Blade. And I've got to go back again and show you this. Watch the kill feed. Please watch the kill feed. Why the hell are you Dragon Blading into this? Look at this. Your Symmetra's killing everybody. There's a double res come out there, but it's only a double res. May has just used their ultimate. D.Va has killed the Mercy. You are pulling out your Dragon Blade and throwing it away. This is a win for the enemy team. There is no point to Dragon Blade here. I think what's happened is you're like, oh, I haven't used my Dragon Blade for a long time. I'm going to use it now. Complete waste. Absolute waste this is. And the way you deploy the Dragon Blade is questionable as well. We pull it out as we're falling off a ledge. We slash a ledge with it. We get one slash onto a Winston. Not great. Now, this could cost us now. If we please your ultimate fire, thank you. This could cost us now with their next push. What is that D.Va doing? If it's a heavy push, it could be a problem for us, right? If they start popping a ton of ultimates, it could be a problem. Because we don't have Dragon Blade to get in there and do damage to them. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You have just managed to kill a Soldier 76. I'm not going to pause it. We're just going to carry on. By understanding that he was about to die, right? So you knew he was available to be killed, and you dived onto him and you killed him. That is great, but what you need to do is expand that arsenal of... well, it's not really... Let me pause. It's not really your arsenal, is it? But you need to expand that sort of thinking, right? Because a good Genji knows when to go in and when to take fights. A lot of the time, that is if somebody's really low and you can dash onto them and kill them and get the dash reset and dash back out, that's great, right? In the case of that soldier there, I don't think you got the dash reset. Or you should have done it. I'm not really sure. But you went in and killed him, and that was decent. But it was a very easy example. You need to be more proactive in looking for times where you can actually do this. So, again, like using primary fire there is stupid. Use alternate fire at close range with Genji all of the time. You'll do more damage. And then we're back to just spamming the choke. So, I mean, throughout this entire defensive phase, it looks like you're probably going to get another Dragon Blade, which is fine. Your first Dragon Blade was a complete waste. The enemy team is questionable, but then it would be at this level. They don't really have anything to push with. You know, if they put together a proper push here, you know, and ran forward through the choke with the Reinhart, you know, with a Lucio speed boost or something, could be some issues with you. I think what's happening, though, to the enemy team here is the Symmetra is killing them. Yeah, and now we start seeing Junkrats and stuff like that. But you get what I'm saying, what I showed you in the clip earlier on? Like, what are you doing here? Like, you are literally doing nothing. Look at the time. I mean, this is... Oh, my God. Look, right, there's 18 seconds to go here. This enemy team is clearly all over the place. There's a Junkrat up here somewhere, or he's messing around there. There's a Roadhog there. There's a Winston, like, over here. You've got Dragon Blade. You know, what I want you to do is be on here. Because you're not going to get killed if you're up there, because you can like crouch towards the back end here, so hooks from this Roadhog can't particularly get you. But also, when they come through, you can hit them with the Dragon Blade. And the way to deploy the Dragon Blade is very simple. A lot of really low Genjis don't really do this. I mean, you haven't done it the first time you deployed it. Is when you've got dash available, you dash up into the air with the like straight up with a dash. Then you hit Q or whatever your button is to pull out the Dragon Blade. That in turn resets the dash cooldown, then you can dash into the enemy from above. It makes it very hard for them to hit you. So you dash up, pop Dragon Blade, dash down, start slicing away, getting kills, dashing through people, and that's what you do with Genji's Dragon Blade. So let's see what you do. But I'd really like to use this now to deflect the enemy attack, because we know they're disjointed. We know they're not coming in with any kind of cohesion. So we can hit them. Like, okay, they're dropping the beat. May's used her ult, which has completely shut that down. Like, why haven't we used our ultimate? Okay, we've just pulled it out basically on top of Soldier, which is, like, I mean, it's doing the job, right? It's getting things done. Alright, so we should have this point secured now. There's only a Lucio and a Primal Rage Winston. Shouldn't be enough to take us out. Oh, and a Junkrat, but yeah. Dash through him, dash through him. I'd also like to talk about some, like, slightly more advanced concepts with Genji as well. Things like dashing through Reinhart barriers to confuse Reinhart as well, because when a Genji goes through an enemy team, I like Lijiang Tower Command Center is a good point for this. So typically when both teams attack each other, they hit each other in the server room. So when you're coming at each other there, it's like a corridor, and you can pretty much dash through all of them if they'll let you do it, right? So when you get through there, you can start deflecting in the face, dash through them, run away, and you can do a ton of damage. You can also do it on Nepal village as well. When both teams go through the high ground, you can do a ton of damage with Genji really quick, and you can rapidly charge your ultimate. Genji is about poking the enemy, knowing when to take a 1v1, and the way you work that out is by understanding what abilities the target of your 1v1 is going to use. Poor Genjis just go in 1v1. Like, you've selected Ana here, so if you wanted to take Ana on as Genji, right, you're not just going to say, oh, there's an Ana, and dive onto her, because maybe she's got a sleep dart, and if she hits you with that, you're pretty much done. Maybe she's got a bionade. If she's got that, then you're going to take a ton of damage. So there's a problem, right? You don't want to take her on when she's got those abilities available. But if she's got just sleep dart available, it might be worth a go. Let's talk about Soldier 76. You want to take a 1v1 with Soldier? Genji can easily kill a Soldier if Soldier doesn't have his healing station. If he has his healing station, going after Soldier is absolutely stupid, because you're going to have to rely on him being really bad at aiming to not kill you, and it's not going to happen, right? So there are loads and loads of cases with Genji where you can win 1v1s with pretty much all of the heroes, but there's also problems with taking 1v1s when it's not to your advantage. That is what Genji is all about. And also, initiating fights on your own as Genji is not great. What I'm seeing off you right now is very passive Genji play, and that's probably why you're a gold Genji. You're not really taking the fight to the enemy, you're not really being brave. I guess the reason why is because you don't want to get killed. Because, yeah, like I said, Genji's a very high skill cap hero. You dive into the enemy team and get killed straight away. Well, that's not great. If you compare him to Tracer, Tracer can blink in and blink out. Genji can dive in, and unless he gets a kill, well, he's not diving back out, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, let's see what you do here. So, alright, we went for the deflect thinking we could hit the fire strike back, which is kind of okay. And it is one of those, like, key moments. More deflect here. We've got a kill. We took the dash. We could have dashed a little bit earlier there and possibly got a dash reset. Dash through again. Alright. Okay. We had deflect, but there is no possible way we could have known that we were going to get hit there. I mean, well, I guess you could argue we could. We just stand in the choke, which is never clever. You have to use Genji's movement, right? You have to wall climb, you have to double jump. It makes him much harder to hit. Believe you me, I play Soldier at a Grandmaster level, and it is really annoying when Genji's jumping all over the place, right? No, Genji just stands there and lets you kill them. Why are we not dashing in there? We need to get in there, get back into the fight. Like, look at the kill feed. This is like a messy, messy fight. But it's to our advantage, because they've got a longer run back to the fight. Right, I've got to stop this. We're going to run this back. You should be chasing this. You should be chasing this, Lucio. Watch this. Watch this here. Watch what happens. So you come around the corner. You're like spamming shots. That's great. There, Lucio comes in. You're doing damage to him. You need to be using alternate fire, and then you should have climbed up and chased him. Because who the hell could fight you up there? Lucio? Lucio's dangerous, right? But you could have chased him. He was already damaged, and maybe got the kill on the Lucio on top of the bridge. Okay, so now we're just sitting spamming the choke again. Their Torbs use Molten Core. So we really don't want to be here now. Yeah. Like, you do not use dash enough for movement. You're not dashing over. You're just not using dash enough. Like, you can get up into their face, deflect, and dash away. It's such a simple tactic, and it does tons of damage. Like, think about, you know, let's just pause this again. I know I'm going into a lot of detail here, guys, but this is what I'm trying to do with OverAnalyzed, is take it to another level. Watchpoint Gibraltar is on the attack there. Typically, most teams on defense will stand on the high ground in a clump. Unless they're really low-level teams, and then they'll stand outside the spawn, which is, well, stupid and massively in the attacker's advantage. One thing Genji can do there is dash into their face and just deflect, and he will pick up a ton of ultimate charge from that. Or he can just run and jump into their face and then dash back down to his team. There are loads of examples where, I mean, like, deflect is such an underused tool by lower-level Genjis. Like, we don't really, like, oh my god. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. This is a combination of everything. This is bad positioning, taking a fight at the worst time, etc., etc., etc. Watch this. Watch this. Genji pulls out his Dragon Blade. He then gets Sound Barrier, and you think you can fight him. No, you run away. You run away. Watch this. This is... It's almost laughable, this is. Watch this. Right. So we killed the Ryan. Cool. Right, Genji pulls out his Dragon Blade. He's in the back line. Sound Barrier comes down. He's got Sound Barrier. We dive in to fight him. We try and deflect. Deflect. Well, we're dead. Why did we do that? Also, our soldier has used tac visor there in a really, really bad position. One thing I'd like you guys to do with ultimates is don't use them when the fight is clearly a defeat. When you've lost 3 guys in your team, popping your ultimate probably isn't going to change the fight. I'd save it for the next fight. Almost all of the time. Okay, so we're back to spamming the choke. See, what are we doing? Like, we're just standing in the goddamn choke. Like, this is triggering me to no end. Oh my god, I'm going to run this back again. Because we need to... I want you to understand what you're doing wrong here. Why are you just standing in the choke? Making it easy for them to hit you. When you can wall climb, you can double jump, and you can do all kinds of jazzy things with Genji. If you do this more often, and do Genji stuff, so let's pause it and let me draw on the bridge again. Why do you just stand here? You basically stand there. And let them, like, make yourself an easy target. Why are we not running up here, wall climbing, sitting on the top here, and firing down into them, and then maybe going in here, maybe making ourselves a nuisance, firing from below there, from that route? You get what I'm saying? That was a bit of a mess what I drew on the screen there, but just standing here in the choke is such a silly thing to do. Like, never stand in chokes. Unless you're Reinhart with a shield and you're waiting for your team to run through the choke or something, you know? Because we've took loads of needless damage there. Oh, it's pointless, needlessly pointless damage. That's what it is. Alright, so we're getting frightened. We're dashing out of the fight. We took a ton of damage. We need to get healed.
Sorry, do you want a combo?
Please don't take health packs when you're clearly being healed by your Ana because she needs ultimate charge. This is again another problem that I see with a lot of players at this level. They don't look at the score screen enough, so I don't know what ultimates are available. I'd imagine we've got Ana. We should be looking... In fact, we should probably talk about ultimate combinations, right? I know your microphone is not being picked up in the recording, but Nano Blade will kill the enemy team. At this level, Nano Blade will kill the enemy team completely. The only thing that will possibly stop it is if they've got a Winston and a Symmetra that are attacking you as you're doing it, right? But even then, you've probably got, you know, a good chance of killing the Symmetra and getting away from the Winston. You should be saying to Nana, please, Mada, give me the goddamn Nano, and I will use my blade, and I will kill the whole enemy team, because it is so easy. It's such an easy thing to kill the enemy team with, a Nano Blade. And remember what I said, you should be dashing up into the air, dashing down, and then just taking out their back line. Don't attack the tanks first, kill the squishies.
Oh, you combo Zarya?
Right, so we've got Zarya going in. And we're getting some kills. Okay, this is looking fairly good. Until you dashed away from the fight with Dragon Blade charges left. So let's go back and look at what just happened. So we've got the Graviton combo. Alright. Hog used the whole hog on the Graviton, which worked. You've gone in with the Dragon Blade. Can you see what's happening here? Can you see what's happening? That dash at the end. I'll just show it you again, just to hit the point home, right? So here we go. We're getting ready for the attack. We're going to go in with the Graviton, and whole hog is going to be used. What do you want to do here? I'm just going to pause this, right? We've pulled out Dragon Blade to try and wipe out the Graviton, but whole hog is being fired into the Graviton. Why are we not jumping into the back line and trying to just wipe out people who have not been caught with the Grav? Because I think there's somebody over there, right? Anyway, that isn't my issue, because what you did is kind of okay. What you do now is not okay. So you go in, you notice there's a couple of people in there, you get the kill on the Lucio, that's good. You're slashing this Reinhardt, then you dash away and waste charges, and it looks like you're getting killed by the Torb turret, although you managed to get away from that. You wasted charges, you could have killed the Reinhardt faster there. But you'll notice there was a bigger issue, right? So we're going to go back again. Because what have the enemy team got? Let's pause. They've got a Mercy, haven't they? So what's Mercy going to do? She's going to res. What do you need to do? You need to kill the Mercy, right? So let's go back to this fight again, and let's look at what the problem was. Because we go in with the Graviton Surge. The whole hog Graviton Surge combo is all we need there. We don't need the Dragon Blade. I know why you've used the Dragon Blade, because you just want to try and get the kill, because it's probably worked before in the past, and that's okay to do. But we've got to expect Mercy is going to have her ultimate available right now, which can just basically wipe out 3 of our ultimates here. So we've used Dragon Blade. And let's pause, because we know where the Mercy's hiding here, because obviously we've seen it. So we use Dragon Blade. We use Graviton. We use whole hog. They have got Mercy ult available. And we know Mercy's hiding inside here. We didn't know that before. Obviously, with the power of hindsight, we do. However, even if we couldn't kill the Mercy, imagine if you'd held onto your Dragon Blade. Like, before we went into the engagement, my thoughts were, don't use the Dragon Blade in the Grav, because whole hog's already going. Instead, dive into the backline and try and find somebody to kill with it. Okay? But it turns out that the best thing to do would have been to wait for the Mercy res, and then pull out the Dragon Blade and try and counter the effects of that res, unless you manage to go into the back line and kill her. My initial thoughts were try and find her and kill her by diving into the back line. However, as this is all played out here, I don't want to say it's your fault, but because it's kind of a combination of your team's fault, they've used way too many ultimates, and it's a problem. Alright, so they've come with a big res, they've popped Torbjorn ult, your team have used Sound Barrier. We kind of just need to wait the Torbjorn ult out. We don't really want to go and fight him while he's got that up. Going in for a safe deflect again, you know, which is fine. We're trying to poke away, we've taken a ton of damage. We've actually lost our Zarya, although we've taken out their turret and we've now got a Pharah, which could work for us actually, Pharah. Alright, we're starting to dive in. We're trying to get some deflection, trying to get up into people's faces. But you're not using alternate fire here. Like, use alternate fire. It does more damage at close range. It fires faster. It has a higher rate of fire than primary fire. So you should be right-clicking, 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 right-clicking. It looks like you're about to get smashed by Reinhardt's hammer. Yeah, which is unfortunate. Because is this our last attack? No, we should be able to put together one more attack.
God damn, guys.
This type of voice comms as well is really bad.
Can we regroup for the last time?
Where people just generally start talking when it's literally 10 seconds to go. And it's like, oh guys, it's so bad. Don't do that. Try and work the problems out before it gets to that stage. Okay. So, have you noticed, like, I'm just going to pause it. Have you noticed the complete lack of using Genji's movement abilities as well? I'm sure you have, watching this back now, you're thinking, oh yeah, this is so obvious, like, why am I not wall climbing? Why am I not, like, getting up in their face? Why am I not using dash to get around? I'm just sort of walking about and firing. If you just want to do that, because you're basically playing Genji like a hit scan, then just play Soldier. You'll be a more effective player. And it is no slight against your ability. I am a really bad Genji player. Like, when I try and play Genji, it doesn't compute in my brain. I know what I need to do. You know, I'll see things like, oh, Anna's used a nade and Anna's used a sleep dart. I'm going to dive her, and I'll dive her, and then I'll die. It's like, how have I died? It's because I'm not executing the combos correctly for maximum damage. I'm not landing the shots, and I find it difficult personally as a player to use Genji because he suddenly rapidly closes in on enemy targets, and for some reason in my brain that screws up my accuracy, and it makes it really hard for me to play Genji. Whereas obviously, it's easy to see what Genji should be doing, but executing it is a different thing, which is why Genji is a very, very high skill cap hero. And this is why, if I'm playing DPS, I'm playing Soldier or I'm playing McCree, because all those years of Counter-Strike have drilled that into me. Okay. So that was a waste of deflect again. Like, what did you deflect? That Genji's looking to take you because he knows you're low. You do have your Lucio, so you should be able to take him out. Oh, that was so bad. You should have killed him. You should have... Watch this. Just continue with the alternate fire. That's all you have to do. You don't have to get... Oh, you got... Like, again, this would probably happen to me, right? I'd get confused here. But just keep alternate fire. Let deflect go. Alternate fire. No, alternate fire, alternate fire, alternate fire. Probably would have killed him instead of trying to go for that little melee. And also you had an accuracy problem there. But accuracy is something that improves with time. You should have dashed through that, shouldn't you? You should have dashed straight through that enemy team. Let's do one last rewind for argument's sake, because it looks like you're probably not going to take the point. Dash through. Dash through. Nah, we tried to deflect, and yeah, we should have just dashed through and started doing damage behind them. Because remember, with Genji, if you go through the enemy team and force them to turn around, it's going to be such a problem. Like I alluded to earlier on, with Reinhardt, if you dash through him, a lot of lower level Reinhardts will turn around. Well, that's not great, is it? Because that means he's not defending his team because he's just turned around and you can damage him, or the rest of your team can attack him. So it looks like we're starting to just filter back into the point. I don't think we're going to get it, and it's a draw. Okay. So hopefully you bring up your stats.
Yeah, we draw, but that's a waste of fucking time.
Yeah, this guy is toxic. This Ana player is toxic because he did not want to address problems that he thought were problems during the game. He just wanted to moan at the end of the game. Those are like the worst kind of players because they don't really get any better and they don't help the team. You know, just sitting there and going, oh, God, guys, it was such a bad game. After the end of the game, how does that help anyone? It doesn't help anyway. It's stupid. Okay. Draw. Alright. Okay, sweet. I was waiting for that. So, let's take a look at what we've done here. 19 eliminations and 4 deaths. You know, arguably, those are good stats. They're not terrible stats. And I can see why you think, oh yeah, I'm playing Genji quite well. I hope, through watching this video, you can see the massive amount of mistakes you're making. And, like I said, no disrespect, but Genji is a high skill cap hero. So, when gold, platinum player, you know, and even diamond level people send in Genji gameplay clips, I know there are going to be tons of mistakes because that's just what Genji is. He is a hero where you need a lot of very, very fast, instinctive decisions that you need to make, and the more you play him, the better you'll make these decisions. But you need to make a fundamental change in the way you play Genji. You need to be less passive, more aggressive, but you need to be more clever in what you're doing, and you need to use Genji's movement abilities as well, because you're not wall climbing enough, you're not double jumping enough, you're not going in for kills with the dash to get the reset and then coming back out, you know, or you're just not doing any of that stuff, which I wish you would do. Because remember, when Genji's chaining up kills, like if you're going and getting eliminations and resetting the dash, dashing onto all the targets and just doing tons of damage, that's when Genji is most devastating and he's very, very hard to hit. And a very simple tip to remember is every time you want to use your ultimate and you've got an Ana on your team, remember to ask her for the Nano Blade, or say, can you just save the Nano for me? Because once you give it me, I'll pull out my Dragon Blade. And also make sure you dash up into the sky and then pop your ultimate and then dash down. Because when you pop your ulti, it resets dash, and that makes you much harder to hit and gives you an easier time of finding a new target. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa, this is Unit Lost, and this has been OverAnalyzed. If you'd like to send a video in for this series for consideration, then do follow the instructions that have been on the screen. And I hope you like that little bit where I put a bit of my own gameplay footage in, just to sort of explain what I was trying to explain in the video. And I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Oh, remember, you can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and you can join the Discord, which is discord.gg/UnitLost. Toodaloo.